Alright guys, hi. This is Javis McIntosh again with Keys to the Keys. We're going to be doing a run today. This run is to get you it's to get you from the third to the sixth. Now we know that the third is a minor chord, right? And the sixth is also a minor chord. Now the run goes something like this. One more time. I'm sure you heard that, probably in almost every song. It's very common. So first things first, we just established that the third, which is E in the key of C, is actually E minor, which is this chord, right? Now in order to get to the sixth, what we actually did was make this E a major. E, G sharp and B. What do I mean by that? Alright, let's go through the run and then we'll go back to this theoretical aspect of the whole thing. Alright, so the run is like this. I'll start with the right hand, B, then a chromatic movement to the left, or what we call down in terms of pitch. B, B flat, then A, then we want to go to the G sharp. But when you hit the G sharp, you actually want to hit the E at the same time. Alright? Now, to make it a bit more advanced, what I want to do is do a grace note from G, this G here, to the G sharp. A grace note is basically a quick note. You just want to touch and go. You don't really want to press the G. You really want to go to the G sharp. But we actually go from G to G sharp, right? It's a quick movement, so again we start at B and go down semitone wise. Right? This is where if you want to use your left hand, no problem, with the E right there and the G sharp with the right hand. The next two notes would be F sharp and A. Then the next two notes, G sharp and B. Then we'll move to B and D. If I'm moving too fast, just pause it, guys. Then the last but not least, we end on the sixth, but just the first two notes of the sixth chord, right? Which is A and C. So going through it slowly again. Or if you want to do it with one hand, if you are that advanced eventually. Right? Cool. Now you can also apply this. Well, as you realize, this can be a substitute for the 7-3-6. Same example in As the Deer. And I long to worship Thee. You alone. That's where it would go. In the same way, substitute for that. That was a 7-3-6. So this is another variation. This is something else you can use. You want to build up a fat vocabulary. Alright? Now, that same run, we actually, if you know your major scales, you realize that when we're doing this climb, it was actually the first couple notes of the E major scale. That's why we said we changed the chord from an E minor chord to an E major chord. So E major scale goes something like this. Alright, so we used, then we went back into the key of C for the last two notes right there. We can use the same progression to go from the 6 to the 2. Right? You realize whenever you want to move from one note to four notes up in the same scale, 2, 3, 4 notes apart. Same thing with the 3 to the 6. They are 4 notes apart. That's why we call it the circle. Well, the cycle of fourths or circle of fifths. We'll delve deeper into that further in the course, but These are the runs. Alright, so we have, can do the same thing. You guys can figure it out. Moving from the 6, we would majorize the 6, if you want to call it, well, majorize, wow. We make the 6 a major and do the same thing. You take the 5th of that, which is here. And then, so you would end up on the 2. It's a nice way to get to the 2. Apart from that, if you even want to take this further, you can. From the 2 to the 5 now. Where the 2 is a minor chord, 5 is a major chord, no problem. We can still use the same concept. Make that 2 a major. Right? And start on the, let's zoom in a bit on this. Make that 2 a major. And then we do the same thing, take the 5th note of it.